Just before we turned on the lights and set up the camera here, we found some new news about Star Trek Picard, and we'll tell you about that in just a second. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and we were going to talk about more details that we found out since the trailer was released for Star Trek Picard back at the San Diego Comic-Con. But in the news today, there is word that Robert Picardo may be making a deal to join the Picard series as, if not the holographic Doctor, which would require some special effects to de-age him about 25 years. We would also have a possibility of seeing the character by which the holographic Doctor was modeled, which is Louis Zimmer. So Picardo has indicated that he might come back as Louis Zimmer, and I'm thinking by the might, that's probably what's going to happen. So we have an opportunity to see Robert Picardo. I've been a fan of his since China Beach, where he played Dr. Dick Richard, and certainly as the holographic Doctor, he did a wonderful thing on Voyager. So we're looking forward to seeing him in the upcoming Picard series. Already with Jerry Ryan there, and he says he looks forward to working with her. That looks like we're going to see more characters from various Trek series, and that means that it might not be just from the Next Generation. We might see some Deep Space Nine characters too. So it's a possibility that Picard, while it's not going to be any kind of reunion show, there is all kind of possibilities during that time frame for 3 series worth of characters to here and there drop in. Anyway, we were reading around the various trade publications and things to find out if we could get more details on what we're being told in the trailer that was played for Comic-Con in San Diego. And what we found out is that the show is most likely going to be revolving around Romulans and the Borg. We already saw the cube in the preview. Also, we've seen several Romulans and talking to Picard. So evidently, since he did lead the Armada, and they've pretty much said that that is the case, that he led this Armada to rescue the Romulans. We're not saying from what just yet. I believe that it's possible that either from the star novaing or perhaps a Borg attack, or that the Romulans were playing around with Borg technology, which might have had some effect on them that Picard needs to intervene with. So what they've shown us in there, that they have apparently taken over a Borg Cube, because in one of the scenes in the preview, we see Romulan ships inside the shielded part of the Borg Cube, and the insides where they're showing Romulans in armor carrying weapons and inmates wandering about, looks to be that they've taken this Borg Cube and made it some kind of prison ship. That lends to the belief that Nero Ship from the Star Trek reboot movie was actually using Borg technology. And if you take a good look at that ship, it would make some sense, because it does not have the usual Romulan design elements. I mean, even when it's modernized to the alternate universe type of situation, that doesn't look like anything the Romulans came up with. So either Nero was very creative in rebuilding his ship, or they were using Borg technology. We have several Romulan characters that are shown, and one that's going to be a regular is an aide to Captain Picard, or Admiral Picard, and also kind of a bodyguard because he's heavily weaponized. His name is Elnor, and he is a Romulan and will be a regular on the show. Also, the ship that they showed Picard in, where he's in the seat saying engage, was not his ship. It actually belongs to Captain Chris Rios. Chris Rios is the captain of the ship, and Picard is kind of a passenger on it. So this crew is not really Picard's crew, although Elnor is with him, and another character, Dr. Agnes Girardi, who is a researcher, apparently is part of Picard's party. There's also another member of the crew of that ship by the name of Raffi Musiker, who's someone that Picard knew earlier in life. They're a little vague as to how he knew her and what circumstances. So those are going to be the main people on this ship. They're not showing the outside of it yet. They're going to reveal that later. 7 and 9, of course, is going to be on there, played by Jerry Ryan, and also a character by the name of Narak, another Romulan. And Data. Now, we weren't certain when they opened the drawer and in the last scene in this if we were really seeing Data or if we're seeing before. And from what has been said in an interview with Brent Spiner, in the drawer is most likely before, and in the final scene, that was Data. Now, didn't say that it was Data brought back to life or whatever, but rather it could be on a holodeck. It could be a flashback. It could be Picard having visions. It's hard to tell exactly what that is, but he was definitely talking to Data, and Data was calling him Captain. But Brent Spiner does confirm that Data did in fact die. So what we're seeing is something else. Now, in the end, we weren't quite sure what kind of ships, and I looked at it on a bigger screen, and those are Romulan birds of prey, and they show them descending on something that looks kind of like Vulcan, but it could be any kind of reddish-looking planet. We don't know just what the situation is there, but evidently the Romulans are cooperating in some way or other with Picard, or keeping a watch on him, or facilitating him in some way in order to save this main character whose name is Dahj, D-A-H-J, and she was first seen in this Romulan detention camp, which could have been on that Borg Cube, and there are some speculators that are saying that maybe she is part Borg. She might be related to Picard in some way, although unlikely. It's possible that she sees him as special because she recognizes him as Locutus. It's possible that that's the case, or that it could be something else. But she has no idea who she truly is, was a remark that was made during the spoiler. So who she truly is could well be a Borg or some kind of Borg descendant. They've promised us, the producers, that this Picard is going to be the same man. He is going to have the same sense of wonder, of exploration, the same sense of adventure. The only thing is he's just older. And so the story is going to be more gentle and more lyrical rather than as much action-oriented as The Next Generation was. But they say that you're not going to see a Picard that's caught in some kind of feeling sorry for himself type of funk. And that's good news to our ears. Oh, and by the way, we now know the dog's name. Now, I told you what the dog's character's name was. The actual dog, we have found out, does not belong to Patrick Stewart. He is a actor dog, and the dog's name is Nero. So, I'd like to know what you think about what we have here, and how more likely that you may want to watch the show now that Robert Picardo is going to be part of it as well. It looks like it's going to be very exciting. So I'd like to hear what you have to say in the comments. And of course, if you have not subscribed, please do. I have had, like I said, I've had some issues with YouTube. They've been running my subscriber numbers up and down, and so I don't really know where we are right now. But be sure and subscribe if you will. It doesn't cost you anything, and does a lot of good for this channel. And if you want to not miss our next video, just click on the bell icon and you'll be notified. Now, if you watch these on your phone, you might want to make sure that you can get notifications from YouTube on your phone. And Other than that, we'll see you on the next video. Don't go far.